Welcome everyone. Today we'll have the final and also massive update to the Blink Temporalis AUTOBOMBER build. Firstly, let's have a look at the damage against the boss. This is a 2-man boss, so I purposely joined the party so he have doubled the HP of the boss, and the damage is insanely quick. You can see over here, there's so much meteorites and the bosses dies in very quick succession. So the build also retains its abilities to clear maps super fast, as you saw previously, which took us, 20 seconds to clear a tier 16 map. And the build itself have a 2 new variant, which we're very excited to share with you guys. Some very nice upgrades and also lots of utility, lots of bonus damage. And together with tons of blink, the build is very, very nice. So briefly talk about the build and what has changed, and then I go through the changes with you guys. So in the latest setup, we have found a new support lineage gem, which can greatly increase your damage against single target, especially Uber unique bosses or Uber bosses in general. Because for most other bosses and also mapping, you don't really need the additional damage. And in terms of the utility side of the things, because we're taking away Dialla's Desire out of the 5-socketed cast on critical, we can now take advantage of using Dialla's Desire or deciding to not use it and save some divines. So if you are short on budget, you can be saving about 50 divines not having the lineage gem initially when building the build. Or what you can do is you can add this one to Blink, you can add this one to Spark to gain additional benefits by supporting those gems. There will be a small trade-off in terms of having more spirit, which I'll talk to you guys as well. So the build itself is wonderfully fast, as you saw over there. It is sometimes a little bit too fast for the eye, but with the great enhancement to single target damage, we now have one of the strongest Temporalis single target damage build with Infinite Meteorite. So you might have seen the previous videos which will blink around across the map super fast and clear the map super fast. We'll talk about the adjustment to this side. We also have some additional information and some tips in terms of finding a target dummy. So here we're doing some target testing in terms of one of the story bosses which cannot be killed, which allows you to target test your loopings of your infinite meteorites and also test your triggers and also your skill rotations. And look at how fast the meteorites can be triggered will greatly enhance your damage against single target. You can see here my friend's demonstration, there's a lot of triggers on meteorite. It can be even faster with the latest setup, which I'll go through with you guys as well. So what I do now is let's come over. So we're using the replay footages my Chinese friend sent to me. So let's look at the biggest change of the build. So we'll also use a builder's guide. I think that might be easier because I can then use the mouse to show you guys. So the latest change of the build, if you come over to the build variant, there's 2 of them. The new high damage setup will use a new set of skill links with the lineage gem, and the new lower cooldown with blink cooldowns is because of this change. So let's have a look at this change. So in the video you can see, we now have cast on critical socket with AUTOBOMBER. Now this particular lineage gem is very special. It only works if the supporter gem is only supported by one other supporting gem. And this is socketed in a 5-socket cast on critical. So on first sight, I was like, this doesn't work, right? Because there's like 5 other supporting gems. But the 500 IQ idea my Chinese friend had is that what he did was he combined AUTOBOMBER over here with the bloodletting lineage supporting gem, and both of those gems are supporting one particular attacking gem, which is Comet. So notice that Comet over here is supported by only 2 support, while cast on critical have other supports for the additional energy gain, but Comet is supporting by only 2 supporting gems, and this takes his Comet to level 36, which massively increases the Comet's damage in terms of scaling and in terms of single target damage, and this also gives him higher costs for Comets, which can translate into higher damage. So just stationary in the hideout without going into the maps, he's sitting close to 900,000 per Comet. Now once he casts his second-hand weapon with Sigil of Power and casts a few spells, you can see he easily goes to 1.5 million per Comet. And the best thing about this infinite looping build, I guess, is that you can see against the boss, which we don't get to demonstrate too much, with the latest changes of the setup, the Comets are raining like crazy. And it's not about 1 comment per second, it's about infinite comment per second if the boss have enough if the boss have enough health. You can see that within the 2 first seconds, there was like 10-20 comments that's raining down on the boss with this latest new change. So now that you understand this adjustment to give Comet 3 more levels, which greatly enhances damage, what was taken out of Cast on Critical is actually Dialla's Desire. So I'll talk about the passive very soon. So let me show you guys over here. So the previous setup you are looking at is the Comet combined with Dialla's Desire, which will give Comet +1 level, plus 20 the plus 20% plus 10% quality, and also this supported gem will also provide Cast on Critical with higher levels, and also this will provide the Cast on Critical with the lower spirit cost reduction. So previously we thought this is the ideal spot for it. But with the latest change, this one can be freed out into other choices. So I'm going to take this gem out for now. And you know, the new gem we're putting in is going to be this one, which I have the links for you guys to have a look. It is selling for about 5 divines at the moment in the market. So a lot of people are not aware how powerful this can be in the Cast on Critical section or in the Cast on Skill section, which can be very cool gem for +3 very easily if you combine with one other support. Very cool idea, right? So to go from here, now that we have a free Dialla Desire, there's 2 options. If you want some additional single target damage, you can take away Science Temper and put in Dialla's Desire onto the single hand the hand casting of the Spark. And this will give Spark higher levels, this will give Spark higher projectile speed, which can trigger more Cast on Critical, and also more Lightning Bolt, and also more Meteorite or Comments, which return to loop even more damage. And this is what you will see in the latest change. So this is the highest damage variant, and you can see Dialla's Desire is added to the manual casting of Spark. But of course, if many of you are like me, you're looking for lower cooldowns, having a free spot on your Cast on Critical, which is over here because of this new lineage gem, you can now insert Dialla's Desire into Blink. And this will dramatically reduce the cooldown of Blink. So we're gonna take this out, take this back. So look at my Blink cooldown in the moment. So my Blink cooldown in the moment, get the right gears going. So it's about 0.36. So if I take out casting speed because you want more cooldown, firstly, then you look into casting speed. If you guys are not sure how casting speed helps, make sure you watch the previous video with the timestamps where I explain how casting speed works. Now with the additional changes, if you want the speed variant or the cooldown variant, you put in Dialla's Desire into this, and notice there, I went from 0.36 seconds to 0.3 seconds. My Blink just got much lower cooldown. Now the catch is, I need equal amount of casting speed, at least 3.3 cast per second to make use of this lower cooldown. If you have much lower cooldown, you don't have enough casting speed, you can of course change this around, and then you can go with 0.35 higher casting speed. So because we're only having 3 sockets for Blink, the 2 best in slot right now is going to be Dialla's Desire together with Agri over here for +3 levels. And the final one is depending whether you need more cooldowns or if you need more casting speed. For more explanation, make sure you watch the previous videos. So there's 3 of them, and the latest one with the fastest one will teach you guys about how the breakpoint with casting speed works with a timestamp. So once you understand this, you can pick and choose with the 2 latest setup. So the 2 latest setup are 2 new setup. One is focused on higher damage loops with comments. The other one focused on lower cooldowns or better casting speed with adjustment of the new gems. So let's keep going and make sure you guys do use the timestamps. There's a lot of things I want to share, but I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Firstly, if you haven't seen the 3 previous videos, there is a continuous succession of learning of the Bloodmage AUTOBOMBER. The first one talks about how the build works and also key mechanics. The second build teaches you how to build the build for much cheaper. If you haven't seen the video, I did make a lot of trait filters which can be adjusted in the filter section. So if you come over to the builder's guide, notice there is a lot of items that I'm recommending it's possible to buy them for cheaper to get the build started. In the previous videos, I was saying, okay, look at Temporalis, you can start with something close to minus 1.7, but this can be a little harder for most players because you kind of want better Blink cooldown reduction. So we're going to briefly talk about those number of things, and then we're going to move forward as well. So let's see how we want to do this. So let's look at the second change that happened to my friend's current build, and I'll address the changes, then we move one step at a time. Because this is a finalized video guide, I want to cover everything, so be patient with me please, and let me share all the discoveries, everything we did during this week. The second change we had for this particular build is try to save some passive points. Whether you're following my build using this particular jewel, which is very good for having 2 blinks. So this will give me 2 blinks. This also gives me a lot of cooldown recovery, a lot of energy shield, and also even high energy shield. I'll teach you guys how to craft a jewel like this for much cheaper as well in this video. So what my Chinese friend did was, he took out one of the rare jewels to have mind over matter accessible in the radius. So having from nothing damage means that he can now perk into 2 crucial points that he wanted for higher casting speed with Arcane Surge on critical on hit, which will save him about 1-2 points. And here he was able to access to, skip a little too much. So here he was able to access 2 of the points. So this point he saved 2 passive points, and this point with Erectism, he was able to save this one from his Mega Maniac Diamond. So having the ability to save 2 points is not the biggest change, but it is a small change that we want to share with you guys. So this allows him the possibility to open up his Mega Maniac Diamond for other stats. Now, we have talked about the Mega Maniac Diamond. Initially, we wanted to have this particular one. So let me show you guys my current one over here. Try to not be too confusing. But initially, we were recommending Deep Trace. The reason for Deep Trace is so that the Comet's cost of life, which you can see is 206. If I take it off, I won't even have the life to cast my Comets because it's over my maximum life. So the Deep Trace allows us to hit a breakpoint that you can cast your spells. But the problem we keep seeing with the feedbacks is it's hard to find Deep Trace with something good. I was lucky to find Deep Trace with cooldown reduction, but a lot of the viewers couldn't find Deep Trace with something good. And this Mega Maniac Diamond seems to be a little not as great because the difficulty of finding Deep Trace. Because Deep Trace, we don't want to make it a must-have, not for you guys. But let's have a look at the changes over here. So over here, my Chinese friend is going with Shredding Force, which gives him higher spell critical chance, higher critical damage. The magnitude is not that big deal. So here you can see the second one is into Spiral into Mania, which will give him even better casting speed and also some much needed chaos resist because he's not running much chaos resist. So the Mega Maniac Geo is now not using, so if you notice over here, we're not using Deep Trace. So how is he solving the problem with having higher life cost is with this particular jewel. So I'm going to show you over here. I'm in the process of buying this one, but I want to show you guys what he did over here. So this particular Rune is only searchable in the trade filters over here, and I have the links available for you guys so you can have a look, and this will make it more accessible to you guys. So this particular line, 25% increased life cost efficiency. So this particular jewel over here, if I were to insert it, maybe there's a cheaper one. I'm actually in the process of buying one as I'm making this video. Okay, it's 132. So notice that if you buy with Anomaly Orbs, it's actually more expensive. So buying with Exile is actually cheaper. So I'm gonna buy this and actually show you what happens to my build because I'm in the process of changing the build to the new variant. So I'm gonna buy this and let's go to the hideout and let me show you guys the final adjustment, how you can take out of Deep Trace. Now, if you're using Deep Trace, don't be too worried. If you're having a Deep Trace like me that is quite nice, it is okay too, because I have Deep Trace and also cooldown reduction, which is really good. But if you can't find a good Deep Trace and you want to change into the latest build with some additional critical chance, critical damage on the Mega Maniac Diamond for higher damage, so here's the interesting part. Now look at my gloves. Right now it is 48% casting speed. I have some really decent casting speed that is matching or even higher than my current cooldowns. So I'll put this one back for now. I haven't gotten the time to get those. So this is my current setup, 0.36 and also 3.9. Now for my friend's endgame setup, you can see the showcase of the gears at the end of the video. So he definitely have much better gears. So here's the special part. I'm going to insert this particular Rune into my glove. And yes, we're going to override it. So now my casting speed is reduced by 16%, but I have a massive 50% life cost efficiency. What does this mean? This means that my comments is now costing 1,400 life. So the burden of life breakpoint coming from deep trees is now removed. And this allows me to come over here, potentially removing this particular Jew and still have the comments costing 1,500 life. So I no longer have the burden of life over here, that the cost of comments is over my life. So this is one of the ways how my friend was able to have more infinite comments, because his new gloves is now having 50% life efficiency. And look how fast it rains. It rains so fast we couldn't even see it. And you can see in the later testing part, there's so many comments that it's just raining on the boss that really showcase his single target damage. This is the damage testing dummy we found. So with the new changes, yes, the changes, oh, the boots or something. I need to, yeah, this boost is out of dexterity. Let's change this boots. So this particular adjustment is combined with the ability to remove deep trees. If you already have deep trees and you don't want to remove it, that is fine. So you can retain your 48% casting speed, but now we have a new adjustment to the ruins, which can greatly enhance your performance in summoning more comets. And this is very good for infinite single target looping damage. Now, as we keep going, you can see I have prepared a lot of trade filters for you guys, and let's go through those one at a time. So, one of the ways you want to look for Temporalis, I still recommending getting something over minus 1.9, and there's quite a few on the market. Oh, this one is quite cheap, 69 Divine, actually they're 49 in price. So 69 Divine, about 70 Divine, this is the best way to start. If you were to go to minus 1.8, it is not that much difference. So make sure you check the difference, because that 0.1 second difference can be massive. And I do recall there are some even slightly better ones, like minus 1.95 is only 70 divine. So I really do want to stress out the importance of filtering correctly. But here we're going to go minus 1.99. Let's have a look at the price over here. Okay, it's 95. So let's see if we go minus 1.95. 70. So notice that if you filter correctly, this is a pretty good bargain for those of you that wants to get into this build but don't have the biggest budget. So this one is 10 divine cheaper. Most of them are selling for, you can see, 80 divines. So Temporalis filtering is very important to understand. In the previous guide, I talk about how you can potentially get there with the cooldown reduction build, with a build like this. So you can see my blink is 0.36. This one in, we go on to 0.31. So the cooldown reduction build is great, but a lot of us like to use headhunters, so I still want to talk about this a little bit. Now, the From Nothing Diamond, the one we talk about, Mind Over Matter, right now it's quite cheap. It's about 20 Exalt for those of you that want to get one. And once you get the right one, like the one over here, you are planning to replace one of your rare ruins, or rare sockets, something like this. But then you have to make sure you have the stats that is lost from those. Because this one actually gives me a lot of energy shield and a lot of critical damage, critical chance. So keep that in mind. Now, as we keep going, one thing I did forgot to mention is that over here, which is quite important. So if you're taking Dialla's Desire out of cast on critical, look at my current setup. I'm running a aura pad so I can have enough bonus movement speed. So normally I don't run this one because this is just a running faster version of the build. So, and you can do this because the Haze Aura gives you 10% movement speed. This helps me with movement speed boosts. So I go for gold runs and get the boots, get the aura pad. I'm not really blinking for damage. I'm just blinking for utility. But I spoke to you guys about the breakpoint of Spirit. If you have 142 Spirit, which is obtained by having 1 point over here for 12 Spirit, and also 30 Spirit over here. So this is adding up to 142. This is a perfect balance if you have Dialla's Desire. Now if you take out Dialla's Desire, you will not have enough Spirit, because now cast on critical will cost 100, and you are effectively a little short on Spirit. You could put Dialla's Desire into Blink, and that is still not enough. So one of the best way to solve the shortage on Spirit is by manually perking into this point. I have discussed with my Chinese friend, we do agree having those points over here is actually quite beneficial for any of the build, for increasing casting speed, maximum life, and also having the casting speed and also the plus Spirit. we don't really worry about the minor cost as well. So all 3 points are quite beneficial. So if you find yourself taking out Dialla's Desire out of cast and critical, and not having the Spirit, even though you have a heavy valved Spirit helmet, you can come over to this point to compensate. We don't recommend in this point because the bonus cast on speed is not really given to us because we are not really on low life, and the lose of casting speed when full life, it's kind of always there. So this is a debuff, so don't look into getting this. And if you're short on casting speed, this point is also not bad. So now we talk about this, let's keep going. So we talk about the importance of filtering for Temporalis. Let's have a look at a very interesting factor. Some of the feedbacks I had from my much end-game players or friends is that we don't have Rarity compared to the other AUTOBOMBER builds. Now, firstly, I would like to say that if you're playing an AUTOBOMBER build, the price of the gears are quite expensive. The helmet, the wand, the reins, all of those things are quite expensive. It is going to be extremely hard to find good cooldown reduction, good casting speed, and then finding more Rarity. This will add another few hundred or even mirrors into your build for a perfect Rarity found AUTOBOMBER build that is ideally heavy in damage, cooldown reduction, and also Rarity found. But there are ways of finding those in a cheaper method. So let's have a look at the options of finding over 100 Rarity found. The first way of finding the Rarity found is look at this particular ring. This is the ring I'm using, which is not cheap. It's about 60 divines. It has all the stats we want, lots of resist, and even casting speed. Now, alternatively, did I open the ring? Alternatively, you can sacrifice casting speed, still gaining additional life, a bit of resist. You can sacrifice a bit of resist to have it on the top. You can have Rarity found. So you can find up to 42% Rarity found on those rings that can still give you some decent stats. But notice that you're sacrificing a lot of resistance. And to double fund this, if you are okay with sacrificing your critical chance, not using this unique ring and finding critical chance elsewhere on the passive tree, or maybe finding a critical chance on this particular supporting gem recommended to me by some of my viewers, this one gives a lot of critical chance. The sacrifice is loss of critical damage. So you could potentially socket into the spark over here with taking away projectile acceleration, or you can potentially socket over here, taking away projectile acceleration to give spark higher critical chance, and then you can put the mirror ring over here, the Calendra's Touch, and then you can have a lot of Rarity found, and this also gives you enough resistance for all your needs. So this is one of the adjustments for additional Rarity found. Now, you can of course find more Rarity found on the gloves, which can come about 20-ish%, so now you have about 100% Rarity found. Finally, you can find even more Rarity found on the helmet, and this will give you about another 20%. So you're looking at over 120% Rarity found if you really want to build the build for Rarity found for a speed farming Temporalis. I have the links available for you guys. Now, we did not test those gears out simply because my friend's build and also gears is kind of min and maxed out fully. And for me, I am not really a map farmer to benefit that much from the Rarity found. I'd rather have higher critical damage over here on the gloves, and I'd rather have higher critical chance so I don't have to change my entire passive tree and also my entire gears to go for the critical chance. But there is a way of, removing the rings, getting higher critical chance, getting more Rarity, and then changing the whole set of gears. Because if I change this helmet, I'll lose my resistance, and those resistance were perfectly balanced. Here it took me like hours to balance this. So this is an option if you want to go with Rarity for this particular build. Now, as we keep going, some of you are asking, hey Matt, how about having higher damage? So me and my friend has discussed this, and yes, a lot of my veteran friends are recommending is that if you're playing the Bloodmage and if you're not using Rapid Globe, you're playing at the run. And yes, we do want to let you guys know, yes, Rapid Globe, even though this build is not a heavy health stacking build, having this item can massively increase your damage because it scales with your maximum life, scales with cost of skills, and also can give you a lot of good critical chance that you may be missing because you might be running the Rarity build. So this is a very good item that can scale further depending on its roles and also stats. You can get multiple sockets on this item and socketing for lower cooldowns, but that's not recommended because you can use this item for bossing. So here is adjustment for bossing. If you're going for bosses, you can have this particular focus that will have less energy shield. So look at my energy shield, it is about 7,400. Put on this, it is about 6,000. So the cost is that you become a little more glass cannon. And against the boss, you don't really have the need for Chores of Storm, because this is more for mapping. So the alternative together, if you're going for boss, you can swap onto this particular focus, and then you can swap onto an Amulet with +4 to all skill spells. And this one can also be anointed with fast metabolism. I had a look around the market, it was selling for about 50 divine, and today it went up a little bit to about 65 divine. You can also find additional spirit on those items, which can be quite beneficial because we talk about the loss of spirit because you're changing out the Dallas desires over here, right? The loss of spirit over here. So this is one of the options. So if you're going for boss, switch on to those focus and switch on to this one, and this will greatly enhance your damage for boss. Another question is, how come we didn't do this with the boss? Well, if you look at how fast the boss was dying, we didn't feel the need to have additional 0.1 second of killing the boss faster. The build itself, with my friend's new variant, is already killing the boss much faster. So this option takes some time to swap items, takes some time to adjust before the uber unique boss, but it is an option. As we keep going, I want to talk about how to find the timeless juice. So my friend's version is not using timeless juice because his Temporalis is minus 2.26 seconds. He doesn't need better cooldowns. But for my version, I am using this particular timeless juice that comes with Ancient Reserve. Purposely made for +5 and also physical damage, because we deal physical damage coming from bloodletting. So this one allows me to have 2 blinks for the same cooldown. So while I blink once with my blink, and blink goes down to 0.36 second cooldown, the blink starts to recharge its cooldown, and I can use another blink for free. So effectively, I have 2 blinks for 0.36 seconds, and this greatly enhances how quickly I can blink. So a lot of viewers have said this juice can be very expensive, and I want to teach you guys how to craft this juice cheaper. So coming over to the filters I made for you guys. What I'm filtering is filtering for strength and also physical damage over here. And here I'm filtering for the Tacro Jewel, and just to compare the prices. And here I'm also filtering for the tribute and also physical damage. I think by far the cheaper one are those options. And once I filtered any of the timeless jewels, notice that this is not a Tacro Jewel. I'm gonna scroll down. I know this is a little tedious manually, but this is by far the fastest way I found. I'm gonna keyword search for Ancient Reserve. So one is at 30, one is at 50, and I checked this is not a good one. And this one is at 90 for Tacrot. So notice the accuracy for Tacrot is not too bad, but you might not want to pay 90 for Tacrot. And this is also having a Spirit Breaker, which means more Spirit, but we don't really enjoy that much percent Spirit. And that's the Tacrot Jewel. Kingslayer is not bad, but really depends if you have the Spirit points. You really want Entry Reserve. But if you don't want to pay 180, if you don't want to pay 90 divine, this is the method. So I'm going to do this a live demonstration because I think it's also a profitable method. You can come over to the hideout, purchase this jewel, and then divine it into a Tacro jewel. I'll show you guys over here. So similarly, you can search the keyword search to see the other variants of a jewel that is not a Tacro jewel, that is not corrupted, very important. So we're gonna go to the end and look at this one. It's 200 for Tacro jewel. Of course, I'm not paying that much for that, but here I'll show you guys over here. So this one is 30 divine. It is not the right base, but it has all the right stats we needed. It's also not max road, but that's not the problem. I'm gonna buy this for 30 divine. I'll show you guys how to save a little bit on juice. You can be crafting this yourself, of course, as well. So the method of crafting yourself is also possible. So let me show you guys over here. So we're gonna divine this one into Tacrot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh gosh, okay. Took me 7 tries. So notice that it took me 7 tries. I also max rolled into strength. Remember, each time you put a divine on it, you have a chance to change the base from any other base to Tacrot. So effectively, it cost me 37 divine to make an almost max rolled 8 strength, 4% physical damage, and also entry reserve. Let's put into the spot and let's see how good it is. So this is a live demonstration of how you can do this. Don't need this. Mana cost, don't need that. Oh, this is good. Increase energy shield. Don't need that. Charges. Tribute is very good. We want to increase tribute because this gets you to 100%. Don't need that. Plus, don't need that. Curse, don't need that. Hey, this is second. This is actually a really good Jew. So this has 2 maximum energy shield. The projectiles have a additional projectile. This is also really good if you're running for the spark to get additional sparks. Dexterity is not bad, because if you get dexterity, you can change other nodes into strength. So, alright, this is what we wanted. So engine reserve is what we wanted. This gives you additional cooldown to blink. Minions, we don't need that. 20% tribute, that's really good as well. Dexterity just means more strength, really good. Accuracy, okay, this is actually not bad. So this one has 2 bonuses to energy shield, which is really good, followed by 1 key important one, 1 tribute, and then optional to go with more energy shield and also more projectiles. So it's almost as good as my current one. And if you look at my current one, it is getting more tribute, it's getting more physical damage. This one gives more strength, means even higher life. So I just crafted a Jew that is worth over 100 divine by spending 37 divine. Simply by buying a readily crafted Jew that is not corrupted, very important guys, not corrupted Jew with any base that is cheap, and they are divine and life to show you guys, because this is not going to change. Those 2 stats that is not max road can change into max road. So a very easy way to craft those, but if you wanted more information, we do have additional information in the videos over here with some very nice tips on crafting. Let me see if I can show you guys over here. I'll add it to the links below, so you can see how to craft on step by step. I have a video guide to teach you guys how to craft each of the mod, but here I'm just showing you guys, if you don't want to craft each of the mods, you can buy a readily crafted and divine that into tech road. And that can give you much better blink cooldowns if you're running a lower cooldown Temporalis like me. So I want to cover everything for this video, and you can see open all the links to show you guys where to search for those. And basically we can see this is a tribute, this is spell damage. I want to see if this one also sells for entry reserve. Sometimes they don't sell for entry reserve, so this is when you can consider crafting yourself. And the case we just talked about is very good on the gloves, and I even have this added to my gloves because this allows me to do more adjustments over here with the efficiency. You might be asking, how come we don't do multiple case? But look at this particular Rune is limited to 1. So those ones we can only use once, but we can double up with 100% efficiency on the gloves. Now that we talk about those, let's talk about some general ideas. So you might notice in my friend's build, he is using this super expensive Chores of Stone that is valved into +1 skill level with fast metabolism. Those amulets are selling for over 1000 divine at the moment. I'm working on a video to teach you guys how to craft this one much cheaper, and I was able to make thousands of divines of profit by selling them. So stay tuned for this particular video, which I'll be sharing with you guys, of live crafting, of trying to make some massive divines, or even crafting this one for your own build. One of the best ways of getting this amulet, which is strongly recommended. So I don't know if the builder's guide, I don't think the builder's guide can show this. The builder's guide over here, if you come over to equipment, it just shows you what to anoint. It doesn't show what to valve. Previously, or currently, I'm using the all element because if I take the resistance off, I'm a little short on resistance. And a little too cheap to get the 3-socketed boots. I can do that, but I haven't decided to do that yet. But this is a massive upgrade. Why is that? Because +1 to all skills basically gives blink another level. I'll show you guys over here. Blink goes to 36, which hits another breakpoint that lowers its cooldowns to 3.1. So look at the blink over here. 0.36. Look at this. It's a huge upgrade. It is tremendous. Lowers to 0.31. And on top of that, every skill gains 1 rank. So the Comet inside, the cast on critical, the spark, the blink, the lightning bolt, which is great for damage, and also spell slinger, all the spells in there gets +1 rank. So if we were to check the damage, okay, this lightning bolt is not socketed correctly because all my socketed juice comes off. So let me put those in to show you guys over here. Did I miss one? Okay, so if you look at this, this is 24,000, and if I put this back on, oh gosh, this is how good. Just to show you guys the damage difference just from 1 rank. 21,000. So we gain about 10% increase of damage just having this one. So this is a huge upgrade. And for those of you that have the ability to buy it, it's not cheap. So I'm working on a video to look into teach you guys how to craft this one yourself or how to valve this one yourself. It's not easy, but there's a way. But if you want a final form upgrade for the build, this is definitely the one. I recommend going with fast metabolism because if you're getting a Mega Maniac Diamond for fast metabolism, it is very expensive and it is hard to find a good one that comes with 2 stats. So what that means is you can consider looking into a final version upgrade for +1 to all skills to your amulet that will greatly enhance all the abilities you have because it's +1 to all spells. All skills, not just spells. Every skill you have is +1, so very, very good pickup, but not cheap. Second to that, if you find yourself to be dying a little bit more, there's 2 ways of doing this. So I had a comment saying, hey Matt, I'm dying due to stuns and also blinking into enemies. One possibility is to spend 3 points over here, 1, 2, and also 3. And this will provide you with additional stun element and also stun threshold based on your maximum energy shield. And we have a lot of energy shield. So those are definitely points to invest once you have good energy shield and you don't need too much. Everything else, you can consider investing defensively if you find yourself to be dying. Second to that, you notice that in my friends' videos, everything is dying super fast. So alternatively, if you don't want to be investing into those points, you can just invest into more damage. Having high damage, one-shotting enemies on the field, basically means that you can be moving around and just one-shotting things. And once you one-shot, you don't have to worry about getting killed. So either you build for much higher damage, or you build for a little defensive stun threshold that can help. Now, as we keep going, in terms of the charms, recommended to have the anti-freeze charm and also anti-stun charm for both reasons. If you get stunned, get frozen, you can't blink, then you're in trouble. For more defensive purpose, you can actually go with the Spirit of the Bear for 20% more life, better stun threshold, and also with the 20% damage reduction. It is rarely needed, so what my friend was recommending is going with the Spirit of the Wolf, and this will give you better skill speed. The 30% increase of skill speed and also bit of movement speed, which we don't need, it's very good if you have lower blink cooldowns. So this is the ultra offensive, this is the ultra defensive version of the charms. In terms of the life potion, so we had discussions. This potion is better because it allows you to spam your spells, cast a potion, spam your spells, cast a potion, spam the spell, cast a potion. Notice there's so much spark on the floor just because I'm spamming spells and casting the potion. This is great. But if you don't have the divines, getting this potion also works. So this potion actually works in recouping life, and this lasts for 7.4 seconds. And this is much cheaper, it's like 10-20 exalt. This one is just for cosmetic purposes. Now, I think that covers almost everything what I wanted to say. Yes, if you guys are short on cooldowns, using this build over the Headhunter will greatly enhance your experience with Temporalis, Autobomber, and lower cooldowns. Because I agree, not all of us can afford 2.2 seconds. Even -2 seconds is not cheap for Temporalis. In terms of the juice, so over here we have the Deep Trace. It's possible to remove Deep Trace now that you know the method with the ruins with the gloves. The Heart of the Well. You can get critical chance, you can get leech, it's instant, you can get cooldown recovery, and finally you can potentially get something like this, which I am listing a lot of other ones sold. So you can get something like this. I haven't replaced this one yet, I should actually use this myself. So you can get 8% critical chance, you can get 12% critical damage, you can get cooldowns, you can get leeches instant. But this is an upgrade from my current one. But I'm actually selling this one because I don't think I need the extra damage. Maybe I should, right? So the slow potency, because this one max rolled almost everything, right? I didn't want to swap it. So for this one, +8 maximum life, 12 spirit. It's nice, but if you're really short on divines, you can even get lower spirit. Just make sure you have enough to cast both of your meta gems. So here we talk about getting more threshold. And this tube, I showed you guys live how to craft this one. I think this is worth at least 200 divines. I'm going to put it on 300 divines because I think that was a really good one. So I put this over here for now. And notice I just make a huge profit by learning how to do those gems, right? So if you're looking for critical chance, I have some spare critical chance over here because my build is a little short on critical chance. And you can find more critical chance like those over here. As for the rest of the juice, I am getting double critical chance. So critical chance for normal, critical chance for spells, and then double energy shield, which is massively defensive and also offensive. So we have 3 of those over here. Those are of course options. You can go with different options. If you look at my friend's one, and you can sometimes valve them into better stats. I believe he had a 5 valved one with 5 FXs, which is also very powerful. So that summarizes everything, and before I finish, if you really want higher damage, you could potentially perk out of those 2 points and come over here for high critical damage bonus. Massively increasing damage, but it will sacrifice your survivability. Because this means my chest piece gives me more life. I take away the chest piece, we have 1900 life. We put this on, I have another 200 plus life because of the energy shield. So let's just summarize everything, and for those of you that is watching the final part of the replay, the first demonstration is the new variant with high damage in the breaches, and you can see the actual fight against the boss. Which again, with 2 people with double the health on the boss, it still dies very fast. So the demonstration over here shows you what has changed, and then the next replay is actually the previous lower cooldown replay to show you guys if you want to go ultra speed, this is the setup. So once I fast forward a little bit, you can see the setup for ultra speed. Do remember, for the ultra lower cooldown speed, it's not designed for high damage, but it's designed for lower cooldowns. So you can see that gears are a little bit different. And what that means is, if you come over to the new variant, the ultra speed, the new damage, and also lower cooldowns, make sure you check the variants. As we keep going, you got to see his previous setup and also more testings in different maps and also different zones, and bosses die really fast. Oh yes, before I finish, my Chinese friend was able to find a pseudo damage testing, like damage target dummy, a target dummy from Diablo 4, right? So unfortunately, we don't see a target dummy for Path of Exile 2. So I believe he found it over here. So he found it on a random map boss. But the Abandoned Prison have this map boss, a unique map boss, that have a special mechanic that requires you to shoot the arrows into the boss for the boss to die. And funny enough, if you don't shoot the arrows, you can be using this boss to test your skills, whether how much damage you're doing in his like 5-minute health form, because this boss he had was in a map, so this boss had more health. So whether you're testing your damage or skill rotations or trigger chances or how fast you're staggering the boss, this could be a good opportunity to test this for any build. So you find this boss in the map, or maybe come over to the story, finding this boss to just test how many meteors you're raining down for your single target damage. And then you can test your staggering, test your defensiveness, and also test how quickly you can kill the boss. So this is a small bonus. And that should be everything. I think that concluded everything we wanted to do with the Temporalis build. And in the future, if there's any major changes, we'll let you guys know. If there isn't any major changes, I might just add it to the next video if we have something related to this build. And I'll be looking for new build with you guys. Quite excited for that as well. So finally, remember guys, this amulet is not cheap. You can afford it, it is really, really good. But if you can't afford it, I'll teach you guys how to craft it for much cheaper. So you can be making it to use it, or you can make it to sell it. And again, before I finish, big thank you to my Chinese friend, who we became good friends after those videos. So if you want to check his BiliBili out, he does have Chinese videos which demonstrate the similar build, and also he explained those quite well. So definitely check him out on the links below. And we've been working together ever since I started making those videos, and I learned a lot from him. He taught me how to craft those items, how to adjust those items, and with the latest changes, making the build even more amazing. So thank you again for watching and also following those series of videos. I'll be keep updating this build as we discover new things, and I'll be sharing new build as we learn more build together for this particular season and also for the future seasons for Path of Exile 2. So remember to subscribe! Now hopefully you guys found today's video helpful. Again, a big thank you to everyone on YouTube, especially our supporters and also those of you guys who's been supporting me on Patreon as well. And we do have a new feature on the Majestic YouTube channel. If you click onto this, you can become a member. Yes, I've added this just recently, and this will allow you to have early access to videos that is posted a few hours or even half a day earlier if you want to watch those videos a little early. But yes, this will cost money. So please be aware the membership will cost money. And if you do want to watch videos normally, those videos will still be available after 6 to 12 hours, normally on the time we post those videos. and I'll be aiming to post at least one Path of Exile video a day, and this will be including guides, tips, news update, and also the latest tricks that is discovered on both the English and also Chinese community to keep you guys updated. And if you like those videos, make sure you leave a nice comment and also leave a like for those videos.
Not yet. Such a pathetic end. Not yet. I need more time. More time. Not yet. I need more time. Not yet.
We that dreamed, we in nightmare, we that are one. Fate lies strong, we that fail. This our best could kill me. You can hide. You cannot wound me. I cannot die. This our best could kill me. Not even this arrow's best could kill me.
Now before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on our official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is gonna be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.